Hi guys, thanks for listening. Thank you as well to those of you who donate to the Patreon account. I've launched a campaign to raise funds to buy a new iMac. My current computer has been in use for over 8 years, and it is affecting my ability to create new content. As previously stated, my Patreon account can be found at www.patreon, that's patreon.com/leader1, LEADERONE. For those of you who would prefer to make a one-time single donation, there is also the option to send money to my PayPal account. The email address to send it to is Morgan Rector, my last name spelled RECTOR, 331, Morgan Rector 331 at hotmail.com. Remember, any amount is fine. If $1 one time is all you wish to donate, it would be gratefully accepted. Thank you for all your support, whatever forms it has taken. Enjoy the show. All right, everybody, welcome to the True Crime News. Our previous third participant, Michelle Gower, is joining us once again. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us.
Thank you again for having me.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Rachel.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, so our first... Oh, by the way...
No, wait a second. You don't even go into a story. You got to talk about your last case.
My last case.
The last story you just did.
What was the last case?
What the?
Catherine Knight?
Oh, I thought you meant like my last story. No.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
I was going to talk about, I was going to say, so how did you like that one? Because you know the case so well, Rachel. How did you?
God, I just finished it, like literally when I was making dinner today. So I loved it because she's such a fucking psychopath. And anyone who didn't know that story, I'm so excited that you got to hear that story because what a lunatic. And just the way that the precision and the one thing you didn't mention in the story, though, that was one of my favorite things, I don't remember the first time I heard this story, but wherever I read it, specifically talked about when they first got to the house, one of the police officers had looked through the window or like the peephole or something and thought they were looking at a curtain, only to open the door and realize that it was a fucking human skin. Like,
well, I did mention that his skin was hanging like in the living room or something.
Yes, it was hanging up like on like almost on a clothes hanger, and it was just all of his perfectly filleted skin. Like, can you imagine being a first responder? Like, oh, that's a curtain, and then opening up, and it's fucking traumatizing.
Yeah, she used her professional level skills as a butcher to disassemble this guy's body, and they found his hide hanging from above a doorway. Yeah. What do you think about it, Michelle? Did you listen to that episode?
Oh, fuck yeah, I did. I listened to it this morning. And I never heard that story before. So this is my first time listening to it. So it was a giant roller coaster for me. Because at first you're like, fuck yeah, she's standing up for herself and she's beating the shit out of people. And then it's like, oh no, she's taking it too far. And then it's like, oh, it's getting worse because now she's an unstable parent. And then the hanging skin, the thing that I don't get grossed out and weirded out easily, but the thing that messed with me was just the way they described that it was so perfectly skinned that they could put him back around his fucking
like
body.
It was a suit.
I remember I was sitting in the car and I just went, I couldn't handle it.
I don't know, the head cooking on the pot on the stove was kind of...
Yeah, and apparently human ass meat is not very tasty.
Yeah, she didn't like the ass meat. She spit that shit right out.
Was it? And I kept thinking through while I was writing it. I wonder if a lot of women can like relate to parts of this story about being suspicious of a guy cheating or wanting to get revenge when he cheats, but then they find out she abused animals, and that totally threw her any cool factor away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was no good. Torturing the dog and all that.
I've been suspicious of exes cheating in the past, but I never took it out on an innocent animal. I mean, the worst I ever wanted to do to an ex was slash his tires just so I could confront him and he couldn't leave. Like,
yeah, right.
But I wouldn't think to maim or kill or, serve him as food.
I wouldn't give anybody the time of day at this point. I just walk away.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was a little more psycho, but not anymore.
Right. It's like we don't got time for that. It hurts just existing at this point. Like,
no. Amen to that.
But good Lord, she was a hot fucking mess.
Right? I love that. I don't love that. Yeah, don't get me wrong when I say I love that story, but it's when I heard it the first time, it's like, whoa.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, I was thinking, see, one guy that would be great to marry and have children with would be an agoraphobic, because they're afraid to leave the house, so they can't cheat on you, and they have to take care of the kid, right?
I think we're all a little bit that right at this point now. We haven't left our house.
I just like to say I'm a homebody.
Yeah, I am too.
But yeah, good Lord. I feel like even if she did live with an agoraphobic, she would still, in her craziness, find a way to just, thank God chat roulette wasn't a big thing or Skype wasn't a big thing back then, because she'd be like, you're doing this. And
yeah. Going through his every day and shit. Yeah, she'd be.
And that poor guy, that guy, the last guy, that her husband that she killed, he was like such a nice person too. I felt so, but stupid as fuck. You have all the signs that this woman is a psychopath, and he kept going back, I'm like, what? What are you doing?
It was the sex. That's what kept him coming back. Cause she was
a walking red flag.
Yeah. Like I said, she was a savage in the bedroom. She'd go like 3 times, and so it was just hard to turn down, I guess. All right. So my first story. So the headline is "Details Emerge with Murder Charge in Lake Superior Killing Dismemberment Case." Now, Rachel, you mentioned you had a dismemberment case.
So
let me read out the names here to make sure it's not the same one. Jacob Colt Johnson. Is he the name of the perp in your story?
I gotta find. Nope.
Okay, so this is a different one. All right.
Yep.
So yes, Jacob Colt Johnson, 35, was charged Monday in Cook County District Court with second-degree murder in the death of Richard Balsamo Jr., the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension said in a news release. And he was charged. He's already in jail on unrelated charges. The night before Balsamo went missing, witnesses told police he had driven to the Twin Cities from Duluth with the suspect, according to the criminal complaint. Balsamo reportedly told a friend that he was having an issue with the person he was with and that the person was, quote, packing. The two men eventually picked up 2 women in the Twin Cities. In interviews, both women said the 2 men started arguing with each other in the car in the early morning of June 20th, and that Balsamo was threatening everyone in the car with a knife. After hearing a loud noise from inside the car, both women jumped out of the car and took off running. The 2 women ended up at the suspect's father's home nearby. Johnson later showed up, stating he couldn't bring back the car, an Audi Q5, and left, the complaint said. Johnson is the 3rd person to be charged in connection with the death. Robert Thompson West, 41 of South Range, was charged July 16th with felony counts of aiding an offender as an accomplice after the fact and interference with a dead body. Tommy Lynn Hintz, 31 of Duluth, was taken into custody August 11th on charges of accomplice after the fact to felony murder and interference with a dead body. After the alleged gunfire in the car, Hintz was contacted by Johnson and asked to travel south from Duluth to bring him gas, the complaint said. Johnson allegedly told Hintz that he couldn't run out of gas. When asked why, he told Hintz not to make him tell her what he had on him. Hints assumed this meant Johnson had controlled substances on him and met him at West's home in South Range. When Johnson arrived at West's home, West said he looked in the vehicle and saw Belsimo was dead. There were bullet holes in the seat. The two men then moved the Audi and covered the body, according to the complaint. Later, West took Johnson to Douglas County property that included an RV and mobile home. They allegedly moved the victim's body into the RV, where Johnson allegedly dismembered it and placed it into 2 buckets. West reportedly said he went to Menards to purchase tools to dismember the body and the cement used to fill the buckets before sinking them in Lake Superior. West told Johnson he'd handle getting rid of the buckets, according to the complaint. Belsimo's remains were eventually placed in 5-gallon buckets in a tote, which were recovered from Lake Superior near Grand Portage on July 15th and 16th. Before the remains were dropped in the lake, West asked Hintz if she knew anyone with a boat so he could go fishing. The two then allegedly caravaned up to Grand Portage on June 22nd to use a commercial angler's boat. West allegedly said he needed to drop his grandmother's valuables in the lake. He eventually revealed to Hintz that Belsimo had been shot in self-defense and his body was chopped up. The Audi, later discovered to have belonged to Johnson, was found burned and unidentifiable June 26 in Douglas County.
Yeah, that's my birthday. Ew.
Yeah. I just got to take my grandmother's trash for her to the middle of the lake.
Okay, Dexter Jr., just calm down.
It appeared the driver's side rear seat where Belsimo was allegedly sitting had been removed prior to the burning. West allegedly told Hintz he paid someone to burn the car. During a search of the property housing the RV, law enforcement located cement on the grass and red stains on the RV floor. The owner of the property told law enforcement that West was there the morning of June 21st, as was a small crossover vehicle, and that the security system was removed from the property, along with a tarp that matched the description of the tarp the victim's body was found with. The Belsimo family had hired private investigators from Applied Professional Services in Duluth to help locate their son. That was a good call. Yeah, they were the first to uncover evidence on identifying him as a likely homicide victim, along with the suspects and the location of his remains. They issued a statement Monday reacting to the most recent arrests, stating that the murder charges, quote, reflect the heinousness of his murder. These stiff penalties are warranted because of the barbaric nature of this crime. We continue to grieve for the Belsimo family, which received the closure it sought in Richard's disappearance, but which also had to deal with the gruesome details surrounding his murder.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want to know that.
First dismemberment story of the day.
Just the first one, guys. Sorry. That's pretty okay. Rewind back. We did a cardinal rule of killing faux pas. Why the fuck are you buying murder shit at a store?
Yeah.
Because you can save big money at Menards.
God bless you guys. Learn a lesson.
We don't have that. We don't have that here. Is that like a bargain?
We don't have it down south either.
So I'm originally from Illinois, so that makes sense that you didn't get the little jingle. Save big money at Menards. It's like a Home Depot or a Lowe's.
Okay. Oh, I see.
They kind of have a little more of a free for all. Like they'll offer home furnishings and tools and things like that, but then you'll also get like random shit like cleaning supplies and just things that normally.
Do you have Big Lots?
It's like a Big Lots, but more focused towards home improvement.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, same concept. So.
You're not posting this video on. You're not posting this video on.
No, just the audio.
Because I'm vaping. Perfect.
But by the way, what the hell is a Piggly Wiggly's? Is that?
It's a grocery store. Yeah. They don't have them here, but they do have them in North Carolina where our family cabin is, and I remember always loving to go. Also, I'm like, a Piggly Wiggly, that's a silly name for a grocery store. But yeah,
And yet
they
this
had
is a
Piggly
French.
Wiggly in Illinois. But you
And
guys
that's
have Food Lion down that way, and that is such a weird name to me.
yeah, it is.
Well, to think that, Piggly Wiggly's is a franchise, so there's like a corporation with guys in suits sitting around and
With Piggly Wiggly on it.
Piggly Wigglies, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, if I was that CEO, I'd be like, I am the head Piggly.
Well,
Just- yeah.
Does everyone
I'm
have
the
to wear pink suits? I'm wondering. I don't know. Okay.
Probably.
All right. So Rachel, what's your first story? Is it
Well,
the December one?
It's not. My first story is actually a shorter one, but then I have a couple that are a little bit longer. So I'll start out with the short one. And I promised last week I wasn't going to do any parent doing bad shit to children cases, and I completely fucking lied.
Well, that's our specialty.
I can't help it, dude. It's what's there, okay?
That's why we're starting that new show, because people want to hear about horrific things happening to children.
That is why Michelle and I are starting Children of the Void, our new podcast. Yeah. So look for that coming soon. Very exciting. So parents jailed after infant son drowns in an Everglades wreck. So if anybody isn't familiar with the Everglades, I-75 goes straight through the Everglades, and it is a long stretch of very flat road in which you can see for miles and miles and miles and miles, and there's nothing but swamp and a lot of gators.
Oh, okay. Not a good place to leave a child.
No, but it is a good place to leave a dead body.
Oh, yeah. If the gators look at it, yeah.
So the parents of a 1-year-old boy who was thrown into the Florida Everglades and drowned when his family's pickup truck blew a tire last year have been charged in his death. Mark Dorzer faces a charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, while he and his children's mother, Charlene Carolian, are charged with numerous counts of child abuse and neglect for the September 3rd crash. I believe this happened last year. Dorzer, 34, was driving Carolian, 32. There are 4 children, ages 1 to 10, and another adult on Alligator Alley. That's the stretch of 75 I was talking about. The toll road that cuts through the Everglades, connecting Florida's east and west coast. The Florida Highway Patrol says surveillance photos taken at a toll plaza show that a 1-year-old Marvin Dorzer was sitting on his mother's lap, and the other 3 children and another adult were in the pickup's bed, also not secured. That's actually illegal in Florida. So, as they approached Fort Lauderdale less than an hour later, the pickup blew a tire, and Dorzer lost control. The truck went off the highway and barreled through a fence, overturning. It took rescuers 2 hours to find Marvin's body in the swamp. The other children were also injured. The FHP says Dorzer knew the tire was unsafe, but drove anyway. Dorzer and Carolian were arrested near Tampa on Tuesday. They were being held without bail Friday, pending their transfer to Broward County. Jail records do not show if they have attorneys, and it could not be determined who has custody of their other children at this time. Parents of the year.
So what did you say? Sorry, you said something about them having their kids on their laps in the car?
She had her 1-year-old on her lap, and the other children were in the bed of the pickup truck with another adult.
You see, Britney Spears does it, and every goddamn yokel in the country decides, oh, I can do it. Britney Spears did. She drove with her kid in her lap. Remember when she did that?
She did. I think, though, the circumstances of that, like when you go back and look, though, I think she like went around the block or something. I don't think she wasn't driving on a freaking interstate in the middle of Alligator Alley with a bad tire that you know is bad. That's absurd.
Yeah, that is retarded. Yeah.
But yeah, the baby flew out of the car and then literally drowned in the swamp, and they took him 2 hours to find his body. He was 1. Oh
yeah, I'm sure it just flew right out, right? Just like an old, like an old pop can, right? Or
soda.
Or cheeseburger wrapper just flew out. Yeah. Yeah. So
a pop is what you get in the face when you're like pop. I'm gonna pop you.
No, we crack people in the face.
Oh, see, no, cracking is a whip.
Well, you can crack the whip, but you can also crack or smack someone in the face.
That's funny.
This jargon is going to be like a side piece in this.
It's going to be. It sure is. Yep.
North versus South.
All right. My next story. Here's some comic relief for you. Woman says she's having affair with Chimp as zoo bans her from visiting him. So here we go. A woman has been banned from visiting a chimpanzee at a zoo in Belgium after striking up a friendship with the animal, despite Riley saying that they're having an affair. A.D. Timmermans has been visiting Cheetah, a 38-year-old male chimpanzee who lives at Antwerp Zoo in Belgium for the past 4 years. During that time, she believes that they forged a bond so strong that they now love one another.
What?
However, Antwerp Zoo has now told her she is no longer to make contact with Cheetah, saying he's already been excluded by other chimps within the group. Maybe it's because it's bestiality. Maybe they're not into that either.
So she can't call him on his cell?
I guess not.
Okay.
Can't text him anymore. Speaking to regional news channel ATV, Timmerman said, "I love that animal, and he loves me. I haven't got anything else. Why do they want to take that away?" She finds it unfair that others are still able to see Cheetah, adding, "We're having an affair, I'll just say. Other dozens of visitors are allowed to make contact. Then why not me?" Antwerp Zoo said that Cheetah's well-being may suffer if his relationship with a human continues, and that it just wants the animal to be happy. The zoo told Timmermans, "An animal that is too focused on people is less respected by its peers. We want Cheetah to be a chimpanzee as much as possible. Outside of visiting hours at the zoo, he has to manage 15 hours a day in his group. We want to give him the chance to be as happy as possible." According to a zoo spokesperson, the other chimpanzees excluded him if he had contact with humans. The spokesperson said, "When Cheetah is constantly busy with visitors, the other monkeys ignore him and don't consider him part of the group, even though that is important. He then sits on his own outside of visiting hours. Of course, we are happy when our visitors feel so involved with the animals, but animal welfare comes first here." Cheetah was brought to the zoo 30 years ago because he was a pet at the time and became unmanageable. He learned chimpanzee behavior with us, but the interest in humans has remained. Well, no wonder.
That's sad.
If he grew up with a human being, no wonder he bonds so easily with one, right?
Well, and they're so protective and loyal in their little community that they're totally going to ostracize him because he's not fitting in with them. He's more connected to a human. And by the way, how'd she get away with that for 4 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe she gave it food. I don't know.
The zoo didn't. Is Michelle still there?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
Okay.
listening. Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Well, at least she never did anything sexual with him. That's the main thing.
Oh, okay. That's a lot better.
That we know of.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, I guess it would be hard to do that on the down low. I mean, there's almost always people around. So.
Right.
Yeah. She wasn't sneaking in like, am I? Okay, no.
Although there's a documentary called Project Nim where this human family had a chimp living with them in their house. And the matriarch of the family, one day she was naked. I don't know why she happened to be naked at this time, but she let the chimp touch her. So I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe this is the same kind of pathology. Yeah.
Where do you find your story?
That wasn't even a true crime thing. I was just watching that documentary.
Oh, okay.
And,
you worry me sometimes, you know that.
Yeah, it was just weird. The lady's talking about like it's so normal, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know. You let a primate feel you up. I know we're primates too, but we're not the same primates. So
it's different. We're domesticated for the most part.
Most of us.
Yeah.
Just
because you can get it to wear Oshkosh overalls doesn't mean that you can get it to wear
your animals.
Yeah.
Oh.
God bless. Okay.
Ride tricycles and shit. Okay, so what's your next story?
Oh God. I'm going to keep it on beat. Parents and babysitter charged with neglect after 11-month-old baby found dead in remote, obscure, densely forested area.
Oh boy.
A missing infant was found dead in the woods of in Indiana. of northern Indiana on Wednesday evening. On Thursday, the baby's parents and last known babysitter were arrested and charged in connection with her death. By the way, if you look up this baby, it is heartbreaking because she's the sweetest little thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Mercedes Lane was 11 months old when she disappeared earlier this month. The timeline for her disappearance is currently a matter of dispute. While a statewide silver alert says she was last seen alive at 12:30 a.m. on Saturday, August 14th, court documents suggest the girl left her parents' side well before that. This confused me, and I didn't have a chance to Google this, but I thought in Florida a silver alert is actually an older person, like a senior. So I'm gonna Google that. Somebody Google that.
Like someone with dementia or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like the Amber Alert is for babies, so I was confused by that. Despite the shaky order of events, police in Mishawaka, Indiana, began searching for Mercedes after she was reported missing Sunday, August 15th, by her parents, Kenneth Lane, 41, and Tiffany Coburn, 32. According to probable cause affidavits obtained by local CBS Fox affiliate WASBT, the couple allegedly dropped their daughter off with family relative Justin Miller, 37, the Thursday or Friday before she went missing for a few days in order to give themselves a break. At first, Miller was supposed to bring the baby back the following day, but the trio eventually decided that Miller could bring her back on Sunday, court documents allege. The couple told police they attempted to get a hold of Miller numerous times but could not contact him. They finally contacted him on Sunday, and Miller advised that he had dropped Mercedes off with a neighbor since Lane and Coburn weren't home, according to the affidavits. The silver alert was then issued, which asked for information about Miller and the baby containing a description of his vehicle. So I'm thinking it was for him, is what it was, maybe. But I don't know. The suspect was located at around 3:30 a.m. on August 16th and allegedly waived his rights before a police interview. During that custodial interview, he said Lane had contacted him about purchasing synthetic marijuana on August 12th that eventually led to a discussion about how the couple were having a rough time with their infant daughter. So synthetic marijuana, also known as, what do you call it?
Isn't that begins with S, doesn't it?
I literally, no. I knew it when I was reading the story earlier. I'm like, say that, Rachel, in your podcast. And then my brain, no.
Is it like K2?
No, it'll come to me. Give me a minute. Police say Miller's recollection of events changed several times during the interview. He allegedly told various stories, including one about going to a McDonald's and one about going to a girlfriend's. Miller allegedly settled on the following. He dropped Mercedes off at the Economy Inn with, and this is shortened, but it's a quote. He dropped Mercedes off at the Economy Inn with a shorty, heavy-set white female. Then he had seen on several occasions in Kenneth and Tiffany's room. He did not know her name, and no one was at the room, so he thought it would be okay because he had an appointment to go to. At Spice. It's called Spice. See?
It's also called K2. I Googled it.
Yeah, Spice. That's what I was thinking of. At this time, police say their first suspect admitted to using synthetic marijuana while he was supposed to be tending to the child and said that he had, in fact, communicated with the parents via Facebook Messenger. Police say it was learned that Coburn had been in touch with Miller numerous times during the time period Mercedes was known to be missing. They also alleged that Lane admitted to speaking with Coburn and Miller through Facebook Messenger and that he had been in contact with Miller throughout the weekend. Police also allege that they made various unsuccessful attempts to contact the couple about their missing baby. Both Coburn and Lane had been uncooperative in looking for their child, the court documents allege. According to local NBC affiliate WTHR, Miller was interviewed again on August 18th while detained in Marshall County jail. That time, however, he told police he woke up to find Mercedes dead on August 14th at a home in St. Joseph County. He allegedly said he had disposed of her body on a Stark County property later that day. In a Thursday morning press conference, Marshall County Chief Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Nelson Chipman announced that the girl's body was found in a remote, obscure, densely forested area. Miller is currently being charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death and is being held without bond. Lane and Coburn, the parents, have been charged with neglect of a dependent and are being held on a $15,000 bond. According to the Goshen News, it is currently unclear how Mercedes died.
So I think we discussed this before, but isn't it possible to surrender a baby, to go somewhere and say, I'm not equipped to take care of this child?
Yes.
There must be some way to do that, right? I mean, children's services.
It's recommended if you can't get a hold of children's services to drop babies off at hospitals or even fire departments. You know, there's plenty of safe spaces for babies.
They literally have a sign that says safe space on many places.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Yet so many people are taking the tack of just throwing them away and randomly.
Well, I don't think they wanted. It sounded like they just wanted a break to go get high. They didn't want to completely give up their kid, but it was extremely with somebody. Obviously this guy was not a good caregiver or babysitter. So they left it. Nobody cared. Nobody freaking cared about this child, and the child died. And we don't even know how. And it's super freaking traumatic.
It's extremely difficult to be an addict of some sort and not end up with a dysfunctional household if you're the parent or one of the parents. It's you can't balance addiction with parenting. It just doesn't seem possible.
It's just tragic. So sad. It just rips my heart out.
Even like gambling, I saw a thing about problem gamblers. Some of them wear diapers at the casino so that they won't interrupt.
Oh, they don't have to go to the bathroom. Yep.
Yeah. And some of them take their kids there. They're like small children running around the casino, and security, the management, they don't do shit about it because, of course, they want their money. But there's just kids running around the slot machines and shit.
That's great.
All right, my next story. Oh, did you ever watch the show 16 and Pregnant?
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Rachel?
I did, and I know what story you're going to do because I almost did it last week.
Think about how hard. I mean, being pregnant is hard, right? Think about what it'd been like as a teenager, right?
No, I was a child.
That would have been
a child.
Sorry. On top of all the crap you go through as a teenager, you're pregnant. That must be a bummer.
Screw that. Nope.
All right, so I guess so 16 and Pregnant star Lori Whicklehouse sentenced to 6 years in prison for child pornography.
Great.
So yes, she's been sentenced to 6 years. The 29-year-old was arrested and charged in Kentucky on 20 counts last year for possession of media showing a minor in sexual performance. She was released at the time on $10,000 bond and deactivated all of her social media. In September, she pled not guilty to all 20 counts, but according to The Sun, she switched her plea to guilty in May of this year. As part of the plea deal, she must now undergo mental health counseling. She has been in custody without bond since June 30th after being arrested for contempt of court. The original warrant for her arrest was first issued on August 13th of last year. Investigators received a tip-off from the Kentucky State Police Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force that an unknown subject uploaded images that depict child pornography to a Dropbox account. Do you know what? What's a Dropbox account?
Okay, Dropbox is like, you know how you have like iCloud?
Yeah.
Dropbox is a place where you can share documents that is cloud-based. So if you're like, when I used to do ZombieCon, actually, we used Dropbox to share documents, and it's a universal, everyone can see it. It's like a universal drive. So you can upload photos, videos.
So this is not. So that's not just like a private thing between you and.
You have to have an invitation to go into that Dropbox.
Oh, okay.
It's not public, yeah.
So if I was going to create one and I just invited like the two of you, then no one else.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
So yeah, officers obtained a warrant, confiscated and searched her iPhone and laptop, where they found the illegal pornography. Whicklehouse starred in the second season of the MTV reality show, in which the then 17-year-old became pregnant with her ex-boyfriend. The episode focused on the differing opinions of her family and friends as she decided whether or not to put the child up for adoption, which she ultimately does. Well, there's one bullet dodged.
Yeah, no kidding.
Baby Aiden was born on December 16th, 2009. The episode claims she continued to see him and his adoptive family. Wicklehouse also shares a 7-year-old daughter, Rylan Joe, and 6-year-old son, Logan, with now ex-fiancé Joey Amos. Should she get access to these kids? Should she be allowed to visit them?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, no, no. Also no. And then again, no. Nope.
Period. Yeah.
Period.
Okay. What's your next story?
My next story is... Sorry, hang on. Get down. The beheading one. Are you ready?
She just had her cat in her hand, so she had to get rid of it.
Sorry, yeah, I know. I forgot everyone can't see those. Yeah, can. That's fluff butt. So the headline reads, Morgan, I so thought of you when I read this headline. Pure evil exists. Man gets life in prison for brutal beheading of grandmother.
Oh, interesting.
You're right. I know. I was pretty proud of finding this one. It's an older case, but he was just sentenced or just had his trial. He hasn't. I don't think he's been sentenced yet. So Monroe County, and it says MII, so I don't know if that's Michigan. I think it might have been a typo. We're gonna go with Michigan. Monroe County. Yeah, I think that's Michigan actually. Okay. Sorry, ADHD kicking in. You're welcome, Michelle. Yeah, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with our show. No, we'll tone it down. We'll get it. The brutal death of a 70-year-old Cecilia Gibson was a shock to her family, even more so when they discovered she had been beaten and decapitated by her grandson. This was a shock to us all, her son, Billy Joe Gibson, said, holding back tears in Monroe County Circuit Court Thursday, August 19th, speaking at the sentencing of his mother's killer, Kenny Wayne McBride. I expect him to spend the rest of his life hopefully suffering like the rest of us have, Gibson said. McBride, 45, was found guilty of one felony count of each of first-degree murder and mutilation of a dead body at the end of a 4-day trial on June 10th. Cecilia Gibson's headless body was found in the living room of the home she, McBride, and his father lived in together on February 17th, 2020. Her head was found in the backyard. McBride was arrested at the home and later charged with Gibson's death. It took the jury 2 hours to render their verdict. That's not a long time.
Shouldn't have taken that long.
No kidding. I think it takes that long just to read the rules, and then, you have to go through and whatever. McBride, addressing the court for his sentencing, stating he only had one thing to say, then rambled about a juror's Mega Millions lotto number as being mathematically impossible.
Jesus, take the wheel.
I'm saying.
Someone knows how to hold a grudge.
Jesus Christ. She knows what I'm talking about, he said. Monroe County, she knows what I'm talking about. Monroe County Circuit Judge Michael Weipert offered condolences to the family. Quote, the court expresses its deepest sympathies to the Gibson family for their loss and the manner in which it occurred. The judge said, sentencing McBride to a mandatory sentence of life without the possibility of parole. Quote, the court witnessed the aftermath of many heinous and deplorable crimes, Weipert said. This was one of the worst we've seen. It was committed against an elderly, wonderful, defenseless woman who was likely asleep. Pure evil shows no remorse, and I'm sure several members of the jury found out during the trial that pure evil exists in this world. During the trial, prosecutors called 19 witnesses, including several members of the Gibson family, as well as medical examiner Dr. Lockman Sung, several police witnesses, and 3 expert witnesses from the Michigan State Police Crime Lab. According to evidence presented during the trial, Gibson had been residing with her son, Kenneth Reese, in his Temperance home. She had been helping to care for her daughter, Reese's wife, who had recently died of cancer, prosecutors said. McBride, who had been estranged from his father for many years, had started staying at the residence about 6 weeks earlier. Reese last saw his mother alive, this is her son, in the afternoon of February 16th. When he returned home from work at 3 a.m. the next morning, he found a body and significant amounts of blood in a darkened living room, prosecutors said. Not yet realizing the body was of his mother, Reese called 911 for assistance. McBride was the only other person in the home, and he claimed no knowledge of the struggle for the body. The evidence suggested McBride became enraged and beat Gibson to death using a ceramic piggy bank and a metal child gate. Gibson suffered massive head trauma after being struck at least 19 separate times, prosecutors said. After she was dead, McBride allegedly used 3 different knives to cut off his grandmother's head.
3 different knives?
3.
Did he sharpen them too?
Doesn't say. Probably not. DNA, cellular telephone records, and fingerprint evidence linked McBride to the crime. McBride also had injuries to his hands and head that reflected a physical struggle, which is so sad to even think about. Yeah, he.
Injuries?
Yeah.
Well, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Let him walk around with a broken arm or something.
I hope so. Gibson was a grandmother of 15 grandchildren, 20 great-grandchildren, according to her obituary. She loved completing needlepoint, cross-stitch, sewing, beading, and leather work, with many of her creations being sold at craft shows. Also, in another article I read that her head was actually found out in the backyard because he threw it out back.
Why? Was he kicking it around or something?
Right.
Just tossed that out back.
I mean, I guess it's better than boiling it, but shit.
Good point. Good point.
Speaking of boiling, I had an accident this past week. I have first-degree burns because I spilled scalding hot tea on my leg, and but fortunately, it completely bypassed my crotch, so everything.
Thank God. Okay. God, that would. You know what? That is a plus.
That would be really fucked up, right?
Did you get a tetanus shot or anything for that?
No, I did go to the hospital. I have like blisters and shit. It's bad. There's exposed flesh. It burned, like the skin on top of my foot is really thin, so there's like open sores there.
Are you feeling better though?
Slowly getting better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've had those. I've had 3rd-degree burns. They're not.
I've had 2nd-degree burns, and I actually spilled a whole tea kettle on my, it leaked. I had a Tivana steeper that sits over your cup and comes out, and it faulted and spilled hot tea all over my hand, so I had to drive to the hospital, and I was ready to pass out. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Being burnt is legitimately the worst pain.
Horrific.
Ever.
My hand was so bandaged up too after the fact, and I had to have special antibiotic ointment. So I couldn't imagine getting it on my foot like that. Oh man,
I've already been going to a wound clinic for 2 years because of that foot, because of diabetic amputation, and then this shit on top of it. It's the worst possible thing to happen. That foot's cursed, man.
Everyone send Morgan positive energies. Yeah, right? It's true.
We need to Reiki some energy to that foot for him.
Right.
That foot is cursed. I'm going to send you some healing, I don't know, something. I'll find whatever chakra that is.
Maybe I'll have to become a cyborg someday and just get a robotic foot or something.
Hell, why not?
Yeah.
So that was a good story, eh?
Yeah, it was. All right. So,
how excited I am about it?
I have a Florida story for you, and this just
might. What's a Florida story?
This might just be the most retarded Florida crime story you've ever heard.
Oh my God! If it's the one I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Well, here's the headline: Florida mom kills 14-year-old daughter in hospital in a hospital bed in an argument over crayons, not math. Just argued over crayons, and it led to the murder of her own child. All right, so here we go. Yes, a Florida mother has been charged with killing her teenage daughter during a hospital visit. Pensacola police claim Jessica Bortle, 34, killed 14-year-old Jasmine Singletary while she lay in her hospital bed during an argument over crayons. On July 8th, the teen, who is a special needs patient, was taken to Ascension Sacred Heart Hospital after developing an infection. 5 days later, Jasmine suddenly lost consciousness while her mother and grandmother were visiting her in the ward. Hospital staff quickly rushed in and attempted life-saving procedures, but were unsuccessful. Jasmine was pronounced dead shortly afterward. But on July 21st, Pensacola Police Department were contacted by the medical examiner's office after an autopsy revealed the teenager had injuries that were not present when she was admitted to hospital, including catastrophic damage to her ribs and liver. It found her internal wounds were caused by blunt force trauma and were akin to, quote, those found on traffic crash victims. According to the medical examiner, the injuries were so severe she would have died within minutes of them being inflicted, meaning she had to have sustained them while in the hospital bed. Police then interviewed Bortle. They said she initially lied, claiming nothing had happened in the hospital room, before finally admitting being the one behind the injuries. According to the arrest report, she admitted slamming a hospital table into her daughter's abdomen and leaning on it with all her weight. She said she did it after Jasmine swore at her about colored crayons. Bortle was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Her bond was set at $500,000. If convicted, she could face up to 30 years in prison.
No, life. Fucking die. You piece of shit.
Make her eat crayons until she dies.
You piece of absolute... What a cunt canoe.
Okay, here's my thing. What do we know what Jasmine was in the hospital for? Because if she was hooked up to monitors and stuff, how the fuck did that not signal distress?
Well, she was in there for an infection, so I guess they wouldn't really monitor.
How old was the story?
It was pretty recent because I got it from a site that usually posts recent stories.
Okay, so number one, our hospitals are at capacity right now.
Yeah,
my mother's actually in the hospital right now. She can't get a room. People are in the hallways. They're overworked.
What, does your mother have, COVID? Or?
She had COVID and pneumonia, yes. So.
Oh wow. Well, then maybe that's what the girl.
Positive energies.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot better, but still really scary. But another crazy thing, and my father was in the hospital a couple weeks ago. God help me, my parents were trying to give me a fucking stroke at 41. Somebody took his wallet, and I went in there. He's like, Rachel, I know my wallet was here, blah, blah. They can't record you in the hospital for HIPAA. It's a HIPAA violation. But that's terrifying because anybody can walk in there at any time
and do anything
to these rooms and do anything.
Like that.
This is the one place we should have some sort of fucking monitoring.
Like the guy in Kill Bill, Buck. That
yes.
guy fucking sneaking.
There's no one. I mean, they don't give a shit.
I'm ready to fuck.
And don't get me wrong, I love y'all. I love our medical industry. Love you so much. But there's like, you can walk right in. Anybody can walk right in and do anything. It's terrifying if you think about it. And now they're overstaffed. I mean, they're understaffed. They're over, cased, and they have too many patients. Okay, so it's really not a good situation. No one come to Florida. Go away. We're closed. We're full.
So nobody can catch you if you walk in there on Halloween dressed as the Grim Reaper.
Did you ever see home movies? Morgan, are you
home movies?
I don't think it's appropriate to walk in. There was a TV show on Adult Swim called Home Movies. Yeah. And there was a Halloween episode where the one girl dresses as Death and she shows up at the hospital and her coach is there and he's like, I don't think it's appropriate to be at the hospital dressed as Death.
Coach McGurk, the fact that you know home movies is giving me life right now.
I fucking love home movies.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh my God, Morgan, you have to watch this show. It's so fucking ridiculous.
I don't know if we have that in Swim here.
It's on YouTube.
That's on Comedy Central, or is it? Or what is it?
You can watch all the episodes on YouTube. I'll watch them on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So yeah, is it your story now, Rachel?
Yeah, it's my story. You just did the one where the child was killed by her mother.
Okay, so what's your
Sorry, we get you off track. Florida. Florida, this is a good one. I'm following you up. I'll see your Florida story and I'll raise you one.
Okay.
You ready?
There's always one more fucked up than last. Yeah.
Isn't it great to see me when I do these things? Florida woman arrested for allegedly throwing ex-boyfriend's cat into a river after fight.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Let me guess.
Florida,
The cat was a female. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
I don't wonder if it's.
I'll
nope.
tell you later why. But
Okay. I don't think it was, though. A Florida woman has been arrested after allegedly throwing her ex-boyfriend's cat in a river following a fight, according to local authorities. On Thursday, Krista Ann Thistle got into a heated argument over her boyfriend not moving out fast enough following the couple's breakup, authorities reported in a news release from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. According to the police report, at some point during the argument, the 53-year-old began removing her ex-boyfriend's belongings, including his cat, Stanley, from an RV at the Riverwood Park campground in Oak Hill. Thistle was then allegedly threw Stanley into the river while the pet was still caged in a crate. The report states that the ex-boyfriend jumped into the water to rescue Stanley, quote, but estimated the cat was submerged for only about 20 seconds. Deputies were called to the scene shortly after 7 p.m. When officials arrived, they observed that Stanley was still wet and shivering, according to the report. The boyfriend was wet from the waist down, consistent with jumping in the river to save him. Thistle denied drowning the cat into the river, but was later arrested and transported to Volusia County Branch Jail. She was charged with animal cruelty as well as simple assault after she allegedly demanded to make a phone call, bond out, and kill her ex-boyfriend, investigators reported. She remained in custody Friday morning with no bond pending first appearance, the police report states. On Friday, the Sheriff County released brief body cam footage of the arrest. In the video, Thistle is being placed in handcuffs while the cat is wrapped in blankets. The ex-boyfriend's cat, Stanley, is now in the care of Volusia County Animal Services for evaluation. See, I gave you a little late story. I had to do that one, I'm sorry.
they don't take it out on the cat.
You don't fuck with cats, so she's in trouble.
Totally, yeah, she should be.
Trouble.
All right, my next one.
Michelle, do you like cats as well? You better be a cat lover.
I have 2 cats.
Okay,
One
good.
was actually meowing and pawing at my door to get in at the beginning of this
Oh,
podcast.
Perfect. If anyone would like to buy me a new Sphinx kitten, I will take them gladly. I will adopt one. I will rescue one.
That's not a common breed, right? So they probably,
No, and I'm missing. I've had Sphinx for 16 years. I'm just really missing my Sphinx kitties. Meow. Olive.
All right, my next one is newborn baby wrapped in rosary beads found stuffed in drawer in Chicago alley, alive.
Right.
So this baby,
Oh, thank God.
They didn't kill the baby first. A newborn baby has been discovered stuffed in a set of drawers, discarded in Chicago alleyway. A woman was passing by the dumped furniture in the Montclair neighborhood around 8 a.m. Tuesday morning when the handles on the drawers caught her eye, and she decided to try and remove and recycle them. That's when she noticed something inside one of them. A baby boy, no more than days old, had been abandoned, wrapped in rosary beads, his tiny mouth filled with vomit. And the woman said, I put my finger on the little foot too just to see if he was moving. And she immediately called 911 and rendered aid until first responders turned up to take over. The baby was then taken to Lurie Children's Hospital. Chicago Fire Department spokesman Larry Langford told the Chicago Sun-Times he was in good condition and had no visible injuries. It's a good thing somebody came by and said, it's hot out there. It could have ended differently, but it's all seemingly worked out. According to the Department of Streets and Sanitation, the garbage in the alley was due to be collected that same day. So the timing was good.
Oh my God.
Imagine that. On when it would have been like that scene in Goodfellas where the 2 bodies rolled down in the garbage, but that would have been horrific because it would be a live baby. So on Wednesday, police released the baby's picture, calling for information as they attempted to track down his parents. His rescuer said it was divine intervention she had stumbled across him. I found him. That is the greatest thing. Every time I think about the little details, it just makes me mad. So I'm just going to focus on the miracle that I was there and that everybody showed up on time because I was shaking. I was shaking so bad. It was very heartbreaking to hear something like that. I don't get it. I really don't, because you have so many other places. You could have dropped it at a hospital, firehouse, as you were saying, Michelle, church. You could have even rang my doorbell and I would have taken the baby and left. Anything but leaving it in that drawer. On Wednesday, Chicago PD reminded the public of safe haven laws, which allow new parents to hand over newborns up to 30 days old that they cannot care for at any police station or hospital, no questions asked.
Here we go. We were just talking about
Yep.
that. There it is.
There are options, people. Safe options.
Yep, and there's lots of couples out there who are infertile and cannot have children, so take care of the child.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
And also those old people who stand at the abortion clinics every Thursday and hold signs, they could also adopt some babies if they're really that worried about.
Yes, yep. Totally.
So, or volunteer at a
Agreed.
children's hospital. I mean, I don't know.
Or foster care.
Foster. I don't know.
There's
You
so
can
many
do so many things with your time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Instead of harassing the girl who was raped by her father.
That is correct. And that actually leads me into my next story, because I want to run those fucking people over when I see them with my car. And that will lead me into my next story, which is Iowa woman who ran down 2 children of color with car gets 25 years in prison for racist attacks.
Oh, boy.
She did it for way worse reasons, obviously. Okay, so Iowa. Where the fuck is Iowa? Middle? I don't know. I need a map. Somebody's gonna give me shit on the comments for this. And you know what? Shut up.
A
white.
About anything.
Thanks, Morgan. Morgan usually you mediate that well. A white Iowa woman was sentenced Thursday to 25 years in prison for federal hate crimes after intentionally hitting 2 children, one black and the other Latina, in racist attacks last year. Thankfully, both children survived. In April, Nicole Poole Franklin, also known as a cunt canoe, 43, of Des Moines, pleaded guilty in federal court in 2 counts of violating the U.S. Hate Crime Act, 2 days after pleading guilty in state court to 2 counts of attempted murder, the Des Moines Register previously reported. She was sentenced in May to 25 years in prison on the state charges, and on Thursday, a federal judge sentenced her to 25 years for the 2 federal crimes to be served concurrently with the state sentence. Quote, nothing can be more devastating to the American dream of equal rights than the actions of Poole Franklin on a hate-filled December 9th, 2019, as she callously attempted to run over and kill a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. Richard D. Westfall, acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Iowa, wrote in a sentencing memorandum. Around 3:45 p.m. on that date, Poole Franklin drove her Jeep Grand Cherokee onto a sidewalk of Creston Avenue in Des Moines, striking the black boy, quote, believing the victim was of Middle Eastern or African descent, end quote, states the news release. She then drove off, leaving him with minor leg injuries. Poole Franklin later stated she believed the child was ISIS and was going to take her out, says the news release. About 30 minutes later, Poole Franklin jumped the curb with her vehicle onto the sidewalk of Indian Hills Drive in Clive, running down the girl and causing serious injury that included a concussion. Poole Franklin later told law enforcement that she believes the minor victim was Latina, claiming she was, quote, taking over our homes and our jobs and wasn't supposed to be in our country, end quote, according to the news release. Poole Franklin again left the scene, but was caught that same day by police. She told investigators that she had not only struck the girl, but had done so intentionally, according to the Clive Police Department. Police said Poole Franklin admitted to striking the girl because of her race. Quote, she went on to take a number of derogatory statements about to make a number of derogatory statements about Latinos to the investigators, the police stated. Poole Franklin's attorney, Joseph Harold, wrote in a sentencing memo in which he pleaded for leniency for his client, fuck you, she does not deserve it. As she entered adulthood struggling with mental illness, substance use problems, and unstable housing and poverty, Miss Poole Franklin began having problems with the law. No, you do not get to blame your fucking hate crimes on poverty and mental illness and substance abuse problems, because half of those are choices.
Yeah.
And mental illness you can get help for. We all have it, dude.
She's old enough to know that she has a problem.
Exactly. At the May sentencing on state charges, according to the Register, the 14th, I'm back, by the way. Can you see that? Last week I was pulled down. At the May sentencing on state charges, according to the Register, the 14-year-old girl's father testified that he forgave Poole Franklin, but that his faith had been shattered by her actions after he'd raised his children to believe that they were lucky to live in the U.S. Quote, "My hope disappeared," Miranda said. "My belief that I was free in this country was gone. I don't hate you because I don't want you to feel what you made my daughter feel," he said, addressing Franklin directly prior to her sentencing last May. "I hope you change because human beings can never live like this." The federal sentence also requires Poole Franklin to serve an additional 5 years of probation after her present term ends.
Well, I hope that they're going to, force her to undergo mental health treatment.
Agreed.
That should be required as well.
I 100% agree. It's just that kind of stuff.
Revoke her license until she's deemed fit to drive and is not going to attempt to kill other people because they're different.
That's operating. That's a weapon.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did it mention? Just go back for a second. Was her mental health evaluated during the trial? Did they have her undergo testing? Sometimes they do that, like with Catherine Knight.
It didn't say that she went. It just said that her attorney wrote a memo pleading for leniency because as she entered adulthood struggling with mental illness, substance abuse problems, and unstable housing and poverty.
Maybe he dug up prior records and
that was reported by the
Because not every.
No, that's not an excuse.
There are schizophrenic people who are totally out of touch with reality who don't do that shit. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She came back and did it 30 minutes later to run.
Okay, and as an American, I fucking hate when everyone's like, they're trying to invade our country. Bitch, our ancestors weren't all from here either.
You do realize we're all immigrants, right?
Right. We wiped out the indigenous population and forced them to live on the tiniest chunk of land. Fuck that. I hate that so much. I hate it.
Ted Cruz is Canadian. Thought I'd point that.
He's a whole nother fucking mess that I won't get into.
We can't get into it because we'll get in trouble. But I completely agree.
We can't talk about that right now.
Unless you're a freaking Native American, you're all fucking immigrants, okay? Get over it.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. Stop.
By the way, Michelle, are you wearing layered clothing, or do you have a bunch of wild tattoos on your?
She's got tats, man.
I got tattoos.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so you have a wild past, or did you get them after the kid?
Why does freaking tattoos equal a wild past?
Are those
pre-child? I was a child who lived through trauma, so of course I had piercings and tattoos. I was the goth kid in high school that everyone was afraid was going to shoot up the school because I was quiet and scary.
Oh yeah.
No,
I dealt with my childhood trauma differently, but I mean, I just got my first tattoo at 41.
My tattoos aren't even scary. My chest piece I have, it's Final Fantasy 9. It's the crystal logo and some chocobos. It's not even. All my tattoos are bright and colorful and happy because I went through so much dark brooding shit and I got over it. I was tired of being angry and hateful all the time.
Amen, girl.
I was like, let's make things pretty and vibrant. It doesn't have, I still wear black all the time, but it doesn't reflect me necessarily. I'm more pastel goth if I had to.
I love it.
Identify as anything. But I do have a Halloween themey. Hold on, let me see if you can see it. I have.
If it's Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm gonna die.
It's not. It's a raven and a pumpkin and some leaves.
I can't. You're frozen on my screen for some reason. I don't know why.
That's part of the new school childhood. Your mom has tattoos. You might have attended your parents' wedding, and you roll up screens, these devices. That's just the new way of things now.
So I'm drawing a picture of Morgan as we.
You are? Oh God.
It's cute.
right.
Okay. It's your turn. Wait, is it your turn? It's your turn. Yep.
Speaking of horrific visages,
Oh, shit.
I have another child abandonment story.
What the I mean, we can't help
Do you
it.
save these for me, Morgan? Because you know I have a kid, and you're just like,
Hey,
This is literally all that's out there.
suck it up. You're about to do a whole podcast about these stories. So, you know,
Boom, mic drop.
wait for the
save us
cows.
some stories. Damn.
I know, right? Shit.
Yeah. Save some horror for the rest of us. Okay, yeah.
Right.
So 14-year-old hands newborn to random diner in New Jersey restaurant and flees. So yeah, a New Jersey woman who ordered some Mexican food was delivered something else instead, a newborn baby. Elise Scott and her boyfriend Walter Kocha were enjoying lunch at Al Patron in Jersey City on Wednesday afternoon when a 14-year-old girl walked in and then handed her the infant and left. The incredible interaction was all captured on the eatery's surveillance cameras. According to restaurant owner Frankie Aguilar, the girl came in and asking for help, claiming she had just found the child. All she asked for was to help and that she had found an abandoned baby. The newborn girl still had part of her umbilical cord attached. So that's
Jesus.
Damn.
That must have been like
there we go. Okay.
That'd be like that's like a washroom baby,
Oh, that's a
Ah,
Silent Hill baby.
toilet
it's
baby.
a Silent Hill baby.
Scott instantly jumped up and offered to help. I said, "Do you mind if I check the baby's vitals?" She readily handed the baby over to me, so my focus went right into the baby. As the footage shows, after handing over the child, the girl fled the restaurant. Staff called police and an ambulance crew who arrived to find the little girl in the safe hands of Scott, who luckily was trained in CPR. Once I applied the oxygen mask to the baby, all of a sudden we heard the most beautiful cry, and the baby started moving. She slightly opened her eyes, and then she closed her eyes. But the sweetest thing was when she got hungry, and she was trying to suckle on the oxygen mask. So we knew she was okay after that. So the baby was taken by ambulance to Jersey City Medical Center and was determined to be in good health. Police soon tracked down the teen, who eventually admitted she was the baby's mother. She too was taken to the hospital. She's not facing any charges. While the time limit varies from state to state, all 50 have safe haven laws which allow parents to surrender babies at police stations, fire stations, or hospitals anonymously, no questions asked. The baby will now be put up for adoption, but she already has elective godparents in Scott and Kocha, who said they would have loved to stay in contact with her. They said, "I'm just so happy I was there to help because she was desperate and didn't know what to do. She was so young."
That's so sad. She was very young. Hey, at least she didn't leave the kid in a freaking drawer or
That's true,
try to kill it.
Yeah, the baby's alive. Oh, what's that cat's name?
This is Gilly.
Gilly.
Oh, it's the baby.
She's my Game of Thrones kitty.
Oh,
Gilly. Oh, yeah.
My other cat's name is Church, like Pet Cemetery.
Yep. I was
She's
just
a
going to
heathen.
say.
She's
God,
a heathen.
Are we synchronized? Are we synchronized?
All right, what's your next story, Rachel?
Indiana, another Indiana story. Damn, Indiana, you need to calm the fuck down. Don't be trying to be like Florida.
The flyover states are starting to act up a little bit.
They are. They're trying to like come for us. Indiana teen convicted of killing 23-month-old half-sister and 11-month-old stepbrother. Boom, boom, boom. Another kid killer. Nicholas Kedrowitz was convicted of 2 counts. Okay, hang on. I have an echo. Hold up. There it goes. Okay. Nicholas Kedrowitz was convicted of 2 counts of murder. The jury deliberated for 6 hours Friday night before reaching the guilty verdict. Kedrowitz was 13 years. Okay, so this is an old. He did this back in 2017. He was 13 when he was accused of killing the children. The Indiana teen charged with suffocating younger sister and his brother resigned to adult court. Emergency crews were called to the family's Osgood home on May 6, 2017. Desiree McCartney, 23 months old, was found to be unresponsive. Her death was ruled as asphyxiation, according to the coroner's office. Less than 3 months later, on July 21st, 2017, 11-month-old Nathaniel Ritz was found to be unresponsive. The coroner's office also determined that he was suffocated. Desiree's cause of death was asphyxia from asphyxiation. Kedrowitz allegedly told investigators that he suffocated Desiree with a towel after she left the bathroom. Approximately 2.5 months after Desiree's death, emergency personnel responded to the Kedrowitz family home on July 20th, 2017. According to the Indianapolis Star, 11-month-old Nathaniel was taken to a hospital in Batesville, where he was pronounced dead at 12:12 a.m. on July 21st. WXIN reports that Nathaniel's cause of death was also determined to be asphyxiated by asphyxiation. How the fuck else would you be asphyxiated?
Wow, what a coincidence.
I know, Jesus. According to the Indianapolis Star, shortly after Nathaniel's death, Kedrowitz's mother told an Indiana State Police detective that Kedrowitz, quote, here, this is animal violence, mutilated a kitten to the point of nearly killing it, end quote.
Oh, no.
Kendrowitz's aunt reportedly said after her temperament reminded him of the Hulk. Investigators began looking at Kedrowitz as a suspect on September 2017 after his mother told police that he had mutilated a kitten in the family home. A family member said that he had a terrible temper, reminiscent of the Incredible Hulk comic book character. When the police interviewed Kedrowitz, he told them that he had freed his brothers from the hell. Several family members said that he had admitted to putting blankets over the children's heads until they stopped making noise.
Oh, cool.
Why not? Kedrowitz's mother claimed that her son's actions were prompted by an abusive stepfather who was living with the family at the time, according to WXIX. Then we fucking do something about it. Ultimately, the teenager was determined competent to stand trial, and the case was handed over to an adult court in 2019. Prosecutors said Kedrowitz faces between 45 and 65 years on each count. Sentencing is scheduled for November 10th of this year. Nicholas Kedrowitz was convicted on 2 counts of murder. The jury deliberated for 6 hours Friday night before returning the guilty verdict. Kedrowitz was arrested in August 2018, and when he was charged, McCartney said Kedrowitz witnessed how he was mean to babies, that he pushed them down on purpose. He locked them in the bedroom to try to shut them out. He painted a pretty bad picture. As a mother, that's hard to swallow. What was happening, and I didn't know. That's what his mother said.
How do you not know?
Well, obviously, you know, because he's mutilating kittens to the point of almost death.
It starts with animals. These crazy fucks.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So he's his sentencing will be November of this year.
Throw the book at him.
Toss.
Yeah, and at close range too.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's stupid.
Okay, so Rachel, you did one earlier about the kid who cut off his grandmother's head, was it?
Yes.
So here's another young man who murdered a member of his family, a matriarch. Only this time, the generation's closer to his own. 13-year-old Georgia boy charged with murder of his Navy vet mom. So she had to come back home to get killed. Police in Georgia have arrested a 13-year-old boy for the murder of his mother. On Friday, Warner Robins Police Department received a 911 call from a male juvenile about a shooting at a home on Adirondack Way in Bonaire.
Where's this? What state? I'm sorry.
That's in Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
En route to the residence, officers were advised the caller was also likely the suspect. A car was sent to intercept him on Old Perry Road, less than a mile away. When police arrived at the home, they found 37-year-old Dominique Bowers dead from a gunshot wound. The following day, investigators confirmed the caller and suspect was her 13-year-old son. He was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault. Police have yet to determine a motive. According to Bowers' Facebook page, she served for 8 years as a builder second class with the U.S. Navy. An online wedding registry reveals that she was due to wed her fiancé of 2 years Nicholas it's a Greek name, Zaharopoulos, I'll say, on August 27th. The boy, who has not been identified, is being held in the Crisp County Youth Detention Center. He is being charged as an adult. So what does aggravated assault mean, Michelle? I've never been clear on that.
Let me double check.
So it's not.
Also, put a memo down. We really need to talk about the influx recently, like within the past decade, of very young people committing these crimes. Yeah. Unless it's always happened, and we're just now having social media where we can see it. But to me, it seems like there's more. I'm wondering if, because we have grown so quickly with social media and them having so much information at their disposal, like we didn't have any of this when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? We were just out playing and being kids, and I think they've had to go.
But didn't you know an evil kid?
I knew.
Yeah,
I knew shitty kids, not like gonna kill you kids, but
there's like the kids like James Bulger's murderers, Robert Thompson and John Venables, that redhead kid Eric Smith who murdered.
Yeah. It just seems like there's so many more though. I mean, every single freaking week we have a new story of a child killing someone.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it might not be that it's happening more. It just might be that we're more aware of it happening. And because of social media, word travels faster. Whereas it used to be isolated. And it's fucked up. Because, I mean, going back to assault and aggravated assault. Mm-hmm. So, like, a simple assault would be minor injuries, touching, threatening words of behavior. You know, no serious bodily injury happens in a simple assault. It's more like, you know, if you beat someone up, superficial injuries, that kind of shit. Aggravated assault.
Is that where, like, you're breaking bones? Is that where?
That is serious injuries or the addition of weapons into the equation. So, yes, bone breaking, stabbing,
you're trying to physically harm
hitting
someone.
people with pipes and whatever the fuck, you know, that's where. Like you're meaning to really fuck someone up.
Like when Vinny comes around to collect your gambling debts.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And your kneecap is the price.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Paying with your vital joints. Yeah.
But you have enough.
I was going to say, growing up where I did, like, even in the 90s, like, we had bullies in the neighborhood. Like, not anyone we would think would kill somebody, but people that, you know, like, there was this boy who grew up in my neighborhood, and he used to pick on all the younger kids, you know, because he was a dick. And I remember one time he picked on my next door neighbor and his older sister, who was older than me. So this kid must have been like 10, and my neighbor was like 15, 16, went over there to, like, confront him, and he fucking punched her in the face. And then I remember, like, he bloodied her nose, so she went back home, told her mom. Mom went over to talk to his mom, and his mom's like, well, boys will be boys. Like, no, the fuck they won't. Your kid is a heathen. I don't know whatever happened to this kid. Sometimes I wonder, like, was he a product of the system? Did he end up in juvie? Did he turn out well-adjusted after the fact? I doubt it.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You said you're from Illinois. Did you live in Chicago or around Chicago?
I lived in the northwest suburbs, so I was like close to the border of Wisconsin.
Isn't Chicago like the murder capital of the nation now, or close to it? It's pretty violent, right?
Probably.
It's pretty crimey.
It's a lot of gang-related activity, though. So it's like, and the whole dynamic of Chicago in the last, I would say, decade has changed too, because when I grew up there in the suburbs, it was the safe cookie cutter place. You never saw bad things. You were very sheltered. It was very safe. You could, you know, go walking out at 9:00 at night with the fucking street lights on and nothing ever happened. And then it was like people started moving to the city and it drove all of the crime out, or some of it. And then the suburbs started becoming sketchy. Like it kind of flipped, but at the same time, the gang activity is still very predominant in parts of Chicago, and that's a big thing with it. So it's
unfortunate.
I know my dad lives south of the city, and one time when I was going to visit, I was like, why don't we go downtown? Let's go to like Navy Pier and see the Bean and go to the, the museums. And he's like, not unless you want to get fucking shot. And it's
He's
like,
like, nope.
Unless you want to
damn
spend
it.
the rest of the day in the hospital. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, I just want to go see some fucking Van Gogh paintings. Like, who's gonna, like, I want to go see dinosaurs and shit. And he was like, hell no, he wouldn't go. So.
Like, come here, I'll take you to the Dolly Museum.
All right. And to leave with one non-horrific childhood detail, Rachel, have you seen Michelle's daughter? She's really cute. She's very adorable.
Yeah, I've stalked her Insta thoroughly.
She's on my Insta. She's a heathen. I love her.
She's adorable. She's so cute.
She
is adorable, but she's a spitfire, and I love it because then I don't have to worry so much about her.
She could be on TV. She could be an actor or something. She's got personality.
Seriously. She's got this comedic personality. Oh my fucking God. I can't. Like, the way she says shit now, like, that she's starting to lose that toddler voice, and she's getting that little kid, and she's just conversing very well. Like, okay, so sidetrack. Sorry, guys. I know you get sick of hearing about kids, but our kids are fucking cool.
We're totally gonna get it.
I'm not talking about murdered dead kids, so
Yeah, so let's talk about the live ones and the stupid shit they do. So my daughter came home. Her grandma's watching her right now because preschool's not open yet where we're at. And she's like, Grandma was looking at buying me Toy Story toys. Because that's her new thing. She loves Disney. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And she goes, yeah, we got to buy all of them. And I'm like, oh, really? I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to buy all of them. She goes, we're buying all of them. Sorry. And I'm like,
oh, boy.
Like, dude.
That's a girl.
Like, do you have money for this? Like, you're kind of expensive, kid.
So what age is it when they transition from pronouncing it fwee to three? They start out saying fwee. Don't they pronounce it that way for a little while?
Yeah, usually just because, consonants and stuff are a little harder for them to get right off the bat. I would say
4 or 5.
3 to 4. Yeah.
Well, my son still has a speech impediment, so.
My kid's kind of advanced, which sucks because I don't get any downtime between all the big milestones. She just fucking jumps through shit so fast. She'll be doing taxes by the time she's 6. But I would say probably the biggest notice was from 2.5 to 3.5. Because she could speak very well, even at 2. It's hard to explain. Like, when you're their parent, you get their language. You understand them a lot faster and a lot easier than anyone else does because you are around them 24/7.
Of course.
Like, I might not understand what Rachel's kids were saying when they were 2 and vice versa, but you get the gist of it. You know your kids. Yeah. And just hearing her being able to pronounce things, like, my favorite game with her is to say big ass words and see what she fucks up and what she gets right. And she can say esthetician. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, my husband gets tongue tied and he can't even say half that shit. And he's like, oh my God, like, she's saying all these things.
My younger son can get with your daughter to do taxes.
It's really cute. So.
Because this kid has a math ability 100% did not come from me. At all. But like he'll add and divide shit. He's 8. He just turned 8 this past weekend. And I'm like, I'll say we'll do some crazy math, like and then he'll be right, and I have to fucking pull my calculator out my phone. Oh, I got that right.
Well, that's good.
Really?
I wish I was good at math, but I'm mathematical.
Yeah, me too. But we're not. We're good at sarcasm and true crime.
Yeah, not everyone.
And pissing people off when we talk about kids and politics.
Oh, Michelle, what is your side hustle? Or your main hustle, I guess? What is your job? What do you do?
I work as like a case manager. So where I live, we live in a high crime area, high poverty, low income. We struggle bus, lot of drug activity. So I actually work alongside the different local agencies. We like Job and Family Services, Children's Services, Juvenile Court.
Hard.
What we do is, like, I specifically get a caseload where I focus on helping these kids in high school graduate, stay on track.
Amazing.
We help them by providing them with services they may not, like driver's ed. Driver's ed's expensive as hell, and a lot of people around here probably couldn't afford it, or they would struggle. And I don't want, no kid and no parent should have to make that choice between paying utilities and teaching their kid how to fucking drive.
Yeah.
So we provide a bunch of assistance with stuff like that. And then we also provide work experience to kind of give kids an incentive to like stay on track and do the right thing and not fuck up, because it's so easy to slip and do the wrong things because that instant gratification's there.
Yeah.
But, it takes so long. Once you start digging yourself those holes, it's really hard to get out. And like our whole goal is just, in life, we all start at different starting points, but we all want to get to the end point at the same time. Everyone's going to turn 18. Everyone's going to graduate. Like,
and then what?
Let's level the playing field as much as we possibly can, regardless of where you came from. Let's get you to the same starting point for the next chapter.
Might I suggest?
Yep.
We were talking about this the other day at brunch. Shit, I'm going to start a freaking TikTok of shit that annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck are we not taught in high school that your credit score is the most fucking important thing in your entire life? When has anybody talked about your credit score ever in your life?
So that is literally one of the side things that when the kids get in our program is we teach them. There's like a special class that teaches you behaviors and things to anticipate when, you become employed. Like,
no one taught me that.
Yeah, and then it's
I about my credit up by 21.
They call it financial literacy, but it's there's a lot of programs out there. Even colleges now locally are starting to have side classes that kids can attend to help them because they don't fucking know. Like, it sucks. They don't teach you how to apply for your financial aid, which is federally, there's a website you have to go to, and it's a huge fucking hassle. They don't teach you how, if you're low income and you have a medical bill, because everyone jokes about how expensive hospitals are in the United States, but they don't teach you that if you're under the poverty line, you can get those medical bills wiped with just your proof of income. You won't be responsible for it, and that won't fuck up your credit score. Like,
that's what I do for a living.
It's a hot mess. And some of these kids I work with, their parents may not have graduated high school, they may not have gone to college, they may be working full time to the point where they can't be there to support their kids because they got to support the household, and it sucks. I see so much bullshit in my job, and like, I really feel for the kids because it's hard.
It's hard.
I have my own struggles, but it's not to the extent that some of these kids go through. So, I really commend them for doing what they, for getting involved in the program.
Absolutely.
And doing what they have to.
Didn't there used to be a lot of driver's education courses in high schools?
Well, and that's the weird thing too. So like the curriculum across the United States is jacked because where I grew up in the suburbs, my sister was 6 years older than me, and she was able to do driver's ed courses in high school.
So was I. They don't offer it anymore.
But yeah, now
just like home ec. We used to have home ec and like sewing and like finance. We don't have. There's not that anymore in high school.
I took economics and I don't remember a fucking thing from it.
I did remember how to sew though in high school. I learned how to sew.
I self-taught
in high school
when I was like 8 years old because I wanted to make American Girl doll clothes.
Oh my god, I never had an American Girl doll.
Well, I feel like I should learn how to sew.
I was too poor for that, but
you should learn how to sew. I can teach you how to sew a button.
That should be. It seems easy, and it seems like it's.
What the fuck is at the end of your pen? What is that? A goddamn microphone? What is this on your end of your pen?
This is a Santa Claus pen.
I was gonna say because Morgan is holding up this pen that looked like there was a rope tied to the end of a pen, but it is actually a Santa Claus head. And okay, you know what? That's just creepy.
Sorry, I'm like running around.
Can I screenshot this so we can like? I don't know how to do that. Do we have any stories? I have one more story. Do you have another story?
Yeah, go for the last story. Yeah.
Okay. It's really short, and it's a Florida story.
All right.
And it's a child death.
Bingo.
Are you surprised?
We've won the lottery.
I wish we would. Okay, so this is out of Titusville, Florida, or as we like to call it, Titsville. And it's Florida mother arrested after 2-year-old son dies from fentanyl toxicity.
How old, sorry?
Dos. 2.
2 years old. Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
My God.
I actually watched this thing on TikTok the other day. It was a police officer that overdosed hardcore with fentanyl. He was, they had opened up the back, they were doing a search and seizure on a car, and the other officer had warned him, hey, like, we don't know what that is, and it was fentanyl. He overdosed. They popped him with Narcan. They had to, he went into cardiac failure 6 or 7 times on the way to the hospital. And eventually he did live, but he almost died from fentanyl.
Damn.
From just being exposed to it, breathing, just being around it. So a 29-year-old woman was arrested for manslaughter a year after she took her son to the emergency room because he was unresponsive. Inmate records at the Brevard County Jail show Janetta Blow, that's funny, not funny, was booked on charges, sorry.
Well, I know a woman whose last name was Hooker, so it's not nearly as bad as that.
We're the worst people. Janetta Blow was booked on charges of tampering with or fabricating physical evidence in a manslaughter of a child. Blow's bond was set at $100,000, and she was released on August 19th, the day after her booking. According to the Titusville Police Department's arrest warrant on June 2nd, 2020, Blow brought her son to Parish Medical Center at approximately 7:12 a.m. He reportedly had no pulse, was not breathing, and was unresponsive, and the hospital personnel were unable to save the child. The arrest warrant says her son had a temperature of 92 degrees when he was brought into the hospital. Parish Medical Center staff reportedly called Titusville Police to report the 2-year-old's suspicious death, in quotes. The crime scene technician and medical examiner looked for injuries and reportedly found several marks on his body that they believed were scars. When Titusville police spoke with Blow, she said she woke up and found her son unresponsive, according to the warrant. She reportedly told police she lived with her parents, but when police searched her parents' home, inconsistencies became apparent with regard to what she said in her statement and what police saw. According to the warrant, Blow later told police she lived at Park Vista Apartments, though the unit belonged to her boyfriend. Detectives searched the apartment unit and reportedly found significant evidence that showed she lived there, along with evidence that contained either feces or vomit on them. Investigators also reportedly found a fabric Crown Royal bag containing several small new plastic baggies. The warrant says the baggies found are the most common type used by drug dealers to package heroin. Clear gloves commonly used in the packaging of fentanyl were also reportedly found inside, as well as about $5,000 in cash. According to the warrant, the victim's paternal grandmother told Titusville police, sorry, I have to do it. She was told by the boy died because, quote, he got into the defendant's boyfriend's heroin. Blow initially told police her son ate dirt at a park and got sick. Go fuck yourself and die. The Brevard Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy and determined the 2-year-old's cause of death was, in fact, fentanyl toxicity.
How do you do fentanyl? How is it administered? Is it injected, or do you know?
Well, there's patches. There's the powder form. I don't know. I just know that it's like extremely fucking potent. Like way more potent than heroin.
So they said there was marks on him, so
scars.
Scars.
They didn't say what from. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the kid wouldn't be using needles, right?
No, I mean not unless he would have died. No, I think he just got into their fentanyl. Like I said, even if you're exposed to it, if you're like a minuscule amount of fentanyl, if you open it and inhale it, can knock you the fuck out.
Well, okay, so Google saves the day. I'm always a Googler. Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid analgesic that is similar to morphine, but is 50 to 100 times more potent, which explains why it just F's you up if you come in contact with it. It's a Schedule II prescription drug. It's typically used to treat patients with severe pain or manage pain post-surgery. Yeah. So,
but it can be absorbed through the skin, so that's why they have to have the gloves.
I think it can be injected in like a liquid form, and then patches and however else, they do that. But yeah. Because I mean,
Yeah,
I've even heard of police officers needing medical assistance after like trying to tend to someone who had a fentanyl overdose, like
Yep.
Wow.
just by skin
It's
contact
terrifying.
and stuff.
Just
It's,
by
yeah,
skin
it's-
contact with somebody who was in contact with fentanyl.
So maybe the kid somehow got it on his skin.
if the
Even
parents
if he
were
was if he
injecting
got
and
into
getting
it,
high,
oh yeah.
he was snuggling mom or anything, I mean,
Right.
it's no joke.
No joke.
That poor kid.
That poor baby. Moment of silence for all the kids we talk about that died. My God.
Abandoned, murdered,
Jesus.
abused.
And me and Michelle are getting ready to start all that.
Yeah. Gonna turn into group therapy.
I need a therapist immediately. BetterHelp.com.
Yes.
Talkspace.
Let's get that sponsor, BetterHelp. Yeah, by the
No kidding. I mention them enough, for Christ's sake. That's always my response to people who want to be assholes on the internet. I just comment with, you need to speak. Here you go. BetterHelp.com. Here's a website you can go to.
Yeah, for the trolls, yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't have time to argue with people who are going to be assholes for no reason, man. If you're going to put negativity out for no reason, then you're just negative. Don't put that shit out.
I gotta stop looking at the YouTube comment sections. I just gotta.
I love it. I love it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever because I'm at the point in my life where I know that I'm above that, and people who are putting that kind of negativity out for absolutely fucking no reason but to be negative and shitty, that's what you're attracting in your life. And I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry you feel that way. But
have you guys ever watched What We Do in the Shadows on FX?
I don't think I have.
No, what is that show about?
It's about vampires, and they live in Brooklyn or Staten Island, and
do they have accents?
Yes, yeah, Nadia and Laszlo, yes. And there's an episode where one of the vampires, he feeds off energy, so he decides to become an online troll, and it is the fucking funniest thing. Like, cause you hear his verbatim like comments that he's posting, and it is just the dumbest shit. But you know that there's people like that out there. So I like to think that they're all like Colin Robinson.
If you're a happy person, would you do that with your time? Would you go on patrol?
Absolutely not.
I do puzzles, damn it. Like, I was playing solitaire before we got on here. Like,
yeah, I go sit at the beach, smoke a substance, and like I chill and put out and burn some sage, clear the negative energies out of the room. So I appreciate both of you and the positivity you bring into my life.
It was. Well, and on that note, I think we've blown our wad for this week. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? Can we end all of our true crime news with I think we've blown our wad this week?
Yeah.
That's a good sign off. I've been wanting to have a sign off. I think that might be it. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. So we've blown our wad this week. I think that's good.
Yeah. Or I blew my wad. You squirted. Oh,
my God, Morgan! Now you've fucking gone too far.
That's too nasty, too raunchy, right?
Jesus Christ! Why do you always
we are all
11?
You know I can top you at any time.
Always.
That's what he said.
That's what she said.
Yes, we blew our wad. Yeah. We blew our wad, and we're out.
You're welcome.
But we have great chemistry, obviously. Well,
and for all the haters that are going to comment, I can't wait to respond with positive.
Heads will roll. As we
positive. No, I'm going to post unicorns and butterflies, motherfucker.
But they're going to get more Rachel because of the new podcast. So there you go.
That's right. I like your sprite. You're strong.
Yeah, I know. It's effeminate. Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for joining us again this time.
Thank you.
And thank you guys
Rachel,
for always having me. And all the
Morgan?
potential YouTube comments coming.
It's going to be good. I'll be fine.
Their tears will only sweeten it.
That's right. Troll tears.
Rock out with your cock out.
That's right. Peace.
Jam out with your clam out.
Jam out with your ham out.